Well, good morning everyone, it is 6 a.m. and as you can see we are off to Sydney Airport to catch Cathay Pacific's business class to Hong Kong. It's meant to be an A350 but we're now on a 777 and after going through the domestic side to skip some traffic and do some plane spotting, we finally arrived at the international departures. As you'd expect with morning flights, the airport was absolutely packed, but with our own priority queuing, immigration and security, we were soon in the Qantas International Business Lounge. It's right after security, you can't miss it, but that was the best thing that they could offer. It was quite an underwhelming experience. You had the basic spreads for toast, some cereal, a coffee machine. There were some interesting alcohol selections, 3 beers on tap, a fridge, and some of your regular staples on the shelves. As for my breakfast, I just went for some overcooked eggs, some over-seasoned sausages, and a few soft hash browns, and some fruit. The Christmas tree gingerbreads were quite good though, I have to say. We left the lounge because it was too crowded and decided to go watch the Macca's conveyor belt at the airport instead. And before you knew it, it was time to board. Upon boarding in business class, each passenger gets a hot towel and a welcome drink. That's all I remember before I fell asleep and woke up in the air. I sat in a middle seat in a 1-2-1 configuration, so I didn't get to look out the window for takeoff, even though I was asleep. It was a very intimate space with only 2 rows of business class and the rest of the cabin behind the toilets. The 2 art pieces were very welcoming, especially the front one reflecting Cathay's colours. Each business class seat has a pair of noise cancelling headphones. They were so good I didn't even have to use my own, a bottle of water, a menu, and an amenity kit from Bamford. The quality of stitching could definitely do with a little bit of work, and the whole experience is not as premium as it used to be. Inside you'll find a bottle of face mist, lotion and lip balm. The rest of the contents are the usual suspects, although the mouthwash is a nice addition. Now it's time for the food, and I tell you right now you have to order the Cathay Delight as your drink. The amuse-bouche was a smoked salmon tartare and the texture was so incredible on this flight. It was a great introduction to what would be an excellent meal. Or at least most of it. I chose what was described as a prawn and cucumber salad to start. The prawns were alright, they were over-seasoned on the outside but the flavour didn't really get into the rubbery texture in the middle, but the salad did not look like a cucumber salad at all. The pumpkin soup was definitely a much better option, although this was made up to some extent with the addition of garlic bread. For the main, there was roast duck noodle soup, braised beef cheek and red wine sauce or roast barramundi with some sort of capers, but I opted for the pork spare ribs with some sort of honey vinegar sauce and a mushroom soup. The pork flavour was very intense, a little bit salty for my liking, but overall a great in-flight meal. The texture was so soft that the chopsticks cut right through the fat, and the mushroom soup was so rich in aroma and very heartwarming in cold weather. We got served fruit right after, and to be fair, they could have been a little bit more generous. I was super ready and excited for some cheese, but instead I fell asleep. When I woke up, they only had the lemon meringue left, but to be fair, I would even take this over the cheese. It wasn't very overly sweet, it had a good range of texture, and I would definitely ask for this again. Me being me, after I finished this, I just went straight back to sleep. Before I went to sleep, I put on some lip balm. It didn't really taste like anything or smell like anything, and it didn't last for that long. But it was lip balm, so I took it. The facial mist is a different story. This one was a game changer. I sprayed it on and all of a sudden I just didn't want to go back to bed anymore. So, seat tour. On the side facing away from the aisle, you'll see a remote control, a reading light, and something to adjust your seat with. You just press the red button to pop out the remote control, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The thing that did catch me by surprise though is the back of the remote control lights up. This is the first time I've seen anything like it. Obviously at the top, you'll get your flight information. To adjust the seat, you have 2 buttons as a preset. One's to lie flat and one's for takeoff and landing. However, you can play around with the buttons at the top and adjust for anything in between. There's also a light for the stowage space underneath, and a reading light with 2 brightness settings. On your life jacket, there is also a whistle and a light. Okay, this one made me pretty upset. Listening to any classical piece, Every piece was one semitone higher than what it should be, but pop music was alright. Now we go into the toilet, and it just looks like your regular toilet. It was kept very clean throughout the flight. They had Bamford products as soap and hand lotion, your regular paper towels, some hand wash, antiseptic hand gel as it says on that bottle, and that was pretty much it. About 2 hours before landing, the lights turned on and I was given a hot towel before our meal. I opted for the beef skewers with pineapple fried rice over the chicken schnitzel burger. There was a side serving of fruit, a passion fruit barber, and naturally I also went for the Cathay Delight again. The beef was tough but flavourful and very authentically spicy with an abundance of chili seeds as you can see. The passion fruit barber was artificially sweet. It wasn't very flavour enhancing, but there was some sort of sugar or syrup which made it sweeter than it really should have been. The aging 777's hard product over the 350 really shows through during this flight. I'll let my attempts of opening the minimap do the talking here. As you can see, the 777's IFE was absolutely awful, although the sunset views were not. The service was great, although I could still feel I was on a 777 instead of an A350. I expect the ARIA suites in 2024 will bring a much needed improvement. We landed just before 6:30, which is quite late, but with our priority baggage, we picked up our bags in less than 10 minutes and found ourselves on the Airport Express in 15. I don't have an outro.